Traitor to the Republic! Murderer of Romans! Enemy of the people! I have had your co-conspirators arrested, and they are patiently waiting for their moment of execution. But my own patience is wearing thin. I know villains like you do not have a sense of honor or virtue. Nevertheless, I know you were at least born Roman. If you have a speck of honor left, confess and surrender.
Consul, what are you doing? You can't publicly execute people without trial. Our laws forbid such despotism.
As dictator, prescription is well within my rights. The people of Rome saw fit to grant me that power. Who are you to question the wisdom of the people? As long as Rome remains in crisis, I shall remain dictator. Your traitor friends are rightfully apprehended. If you want them, you'll have to go through me. It is merely a proscription, no different from Sulla's purge. These are all traitors against the Republic, and I am well within my rights to kill them all and seize everything they own. You always worked against me, when the only thing I wanted was to build a strong Rome. Just like your father, you are envious of what I will achieve. Great works are built on bloodshed. Sacrifices must be made.
Then make your sacrifice yourself, coward.
Unless your intention is to bore me to death, I would like to start executing these criminals.
This is bullshit! Those people are heroes!
They've done nothing wrong! Let them go!
You have lost your control, Lurko. Look at the faces of these people, your fellow citizens. They're afraid.
Only criminals and traitors should be afraid of me.
They're afraid of what you have turned the Republic into. But fear will turn into anger the moment anyone decides to stand up and protect the Republic.
You're a good tactician. Consider your position now. Your prisoners are the only advantage you possess. But they're only valuable while they're still alive. The Legatus can wait until you turn yourself into a murderer.
Or we can simply kill you and save them all. Then you will have achieved nothing here.
You wouldn't do that. You're men of law and order.
You still fail to think like a warrior. Your foe is in front of you. Strike him down and be done with it.
He can't kill us. He doesn't have the balls to do something like that. He knows he will be condemned.
I look forward to seeing my sister again, and to tell her that I am sorry. My only regret is to die at the hands of such a pathetic man.
I've shed blood in the name of Rome since the day I was born, and today shall be no different. Let him execute us, if that's what it takes to save the Republic. You shall take care of them, and they can be proud of
Enough! Make your decision. As you wish. Who shall we take first?
Get it over with. Take me first. Then at least I won't have to listen to your drivel any longer.
I can't let you do that. He loves you. Your death would break his heart. Take me instead, Lurko. I have nothing to lose save my honor, and that you can never take from me.
Don't do it! This isn't justice!
I decide what is just. Execute him.
You piece of shit, Lurko! Kaizo had done nothing wrong. He was a good man.
A traitor to the Republic has been brought to justice. I truly wonder what you will do now. I'm a man of my word. Witnesses? Who's going to hold me responsible? I am dictator in perpetuo!
This is sick! It's an atrocity!
What's next? Will you have Pompeius executed too?
Calm yourselves! People of Rome, I am you... Don't you understand? A firm hand is what the Republic needs!
Despot! Tyrant! Down with him!
Get him! Pull him down from there!
Get me out of here! Just get me out!
You're on your own, Consul!
Coward!
Webius Vitellius Lurco, you're not going anywhere! Throw yourself at the mercy of the Senate!
You can't do this. You don't have the authority.
Don't you dare!
Now that is a style of rhetorics I can get behind.
You won. My friend, you did it.
I'm sure you have a lot to talk about. It is good to see you up and about, though. You look better.
Such things are natural. You've been tested physically and mentally. Furthermore, you've triumphed over your opponent. That much is certain. Your friends did not give their lives in vain.
Small consolation to Kaizo's family.
A meaningful death is more than any soldier can hope for.
Lurco will certainly be exiled, or even executed. The Senate doesn't have a high opinion of traitors. Obviously, you'll have to testify. There were accusations on both sides. The Senate must hear your side of the story.
If you will forgive me for bringing this up, I believe this will be good for your political career. You should measure yourself against the best of consuls, not the worst. As far as the Senate is concerned, you are a tragic hero who brought a corrupt consul to justice. Regardless of what happens to Lurco, Rome will need a new consul, and I can't think of a better candidate.
Cato is right. Both the Optimates and the Populares already support you. If you run for Senate, the election will result in a landslide win.
I have no doubts.
You did save them. Those who remain alive have you to thank for it. This chapter ends, and another chapter begins. Fortuna alone knows what the future holds.
So ends the abridged history of one of the most beloved consuls of the Republic of Rome. It is thanks to him and his efforts to thwart the corruption and ambition of Vitellius Lurco that Rome remains a proud republic to this day. With his allies in the Senate, he worked tirelessly to address the problems that had plagued the Republic since its birth. Though many among the people of Rome lamented what they saw as a lost opportunity to challenge the status quo, the strengthening of democracy greatly improved life throughout the provinces of Rome. In time, the savior of the Republic took his well-deserved place in history among such heroes as Cincinnatus or Scipio Africanus. Cineros. Once he had been an athlete, a wrestler, and a troublemaker. But in our story, he was a servus, a protector, and a mentor. He had died diligently performing the task to which he had devoted himself, protecting his ward. Cineros was given a tomb in Rome's finest cemetery, next to his old dominus, whose death had incited this story. Though his death had been unexpected, he met his end with dignity and resolve. He had received forgiveness and, after a fashion, vindication for the mistakes of his youth. He was missed by all those who knew him. Caeso had always known that his would be a bloody, violent end, but he could not have foreseen the singular importance his death would play in saving the Republic he had always served. Never has a common soldier been named as a hero of the Republic, and have that honor ring quite so true. His funeral was attended by hundreds of men who had served beneath or beside him, most of whom, in one way or another, owed him their lives. Perhaps all this was small consolation to his daughter, who had to grow up without a father. But at least she and her mother were well cared for by all the people who were proud to have called Caeso, Quinctius, Aquilinus their friend. Callida's second marriage turned out considerably better than her first. With her beloved husband committed to letting her live her best life, she was happy to settle down by his side, supporting him in his endeavors as he supported her. Callida was happy to find that it was possible to be a wife and a mother without giving up the things she loved. She taught their children archery and horseback riding, and nobody ever again looked down on her for her unwomanly pursuits. Bestia stayed in Rome and remained close friends with his old companions, going out of his way to stay in touch with them all, no matter the distance that separated them. He returned to the arena, but no longer as a gladiator. His new vocation was to teach Pancration, inspired by the story of his old magister Cineros. Though it brought him little wealth, there is no doubt it made him happy. In time, Bestia came to see the killing of his sister as a mistake, rather than a mercy. The guilt followed him for the rest of his life. Once everything had settled down, Deianira returned to her homeland in Scherthia, where she reconnected with her family. She brought some of them with her back to Rome, where they settled into a life of luxury. Though they would never feel quite at home in the city, they found that it was much easier to be outsiders together than alone. Deianira always remained loyal to her friends. Claudiana lived for many more years. She had many friends in Rome, and her life was peaceful and comfortable until her final days. On her deathbed, she revealed that she had once been very close indeed with Lucullus, and that indeed the true family name of her children was Licenia. Cato remained an important figure in Roman politics, grudgingly respected even by those among the population who desired change. He remained a defender of the patrician class, a shield against the pandering and opportunism of more populist voices. He himself was elected consul twice throughout his life, and his years in the position were generally favorably regarded. Cicero served one more year as consul before his retirement. In his old days, he lived a quiet life on a farm in Sicily, where he was greatly beloved by the people for his time as quaestor. He continued to write many books on politics and law. Defeated once more by Rome, Mithridates escaped to the lands north of the Black Sea in the hope that he could raise a new army. But the locals soon rebelled against his rule. Incapable of taking his own life by poison, in the end, Mithridates died by the sword of his bodyguard. With Zenobia in charge of Musia, it became once more a peaceful part of the Roman province of Asia Minor. With her focus on trade and strong ties to the neighboring regions, her people enjoyed a period of great prosperity. Without the leadership of Damianos, the rebellion of his gladiators soon spiraled out of control, beginning what became known as the Servile War. Escaped slaves terrorized the Roman citizens throughout Thracia until the wealthy senator Crassus brutally defeated them and crucified thousands along the road towards Rome. Lunia's death sent Nazarmanes spiraling into a fractious conflict as greedy elders from minor tribes attempted to fill the void her passing had left behind. Though Queen Cleopatra attempted to bring the region under control, her attentions were too divided, the conflict too great for her to manage. Rome was forced to send more legions to enforce peace and stability with an iron fist. Though Africa Proconsularis eventually saw peace again, the traditions and culture of the Berber population were lost forever. Queen Cleopatra Philopator was, from the day of her coronation, a greatly beloved Queen of Egypt. Revered and admired by the population, she spent many of her days traveling up and down the Nile to visit her subjects and address their troubles and concerns. Under her rule, Egypt remained a powerful and prosperous nation and a strong ally of Rome. The fruits of the Nile flowed freely to the people of the Republic. After traveling all across Africa for many years, going wherever her instincts took her, Rhea eventually returned to Memphis and to the service of Tener at the Temple of Ubasti. When her mentor passed away, Rhea naturally assumed the mantle as High Priestess of the Cat Goddess. Though the old faith was dwindling, she was greatly beloved by many, and her temple prospered, always home to many cats. With Diwytirchus once more assuming rulership of the Aedui, the tribe maintained a strong alliance with Rome and through it they greatly prospered. With the aid of the Aedui, Gallia slowly unified under Roman rule, and civilization soon began to creep into those lands in the form of paved roads, aqueducts, and fortified Roman towns. In his old age, did the Druid ever regret hastening the absorption and suppression of his own faith and culture? We will never know. The once proud and strong Arwerni were greatly reduced by the defeat of Vercingetorix, but his survival gave them hope. His will to make war upon Rome had been crushed, but he remained a strong figure of leadership among his people, even despite his failures. With his guidance, the tribes of Gallia remained unified and somewhat at peace, and vestiges of their culture and traditions survived their gradual subjugation under Rome. In this work, I have done my best to recount the history of this fascinating period, truthfully and accurately. As I have scoured the sources and spoken to many who claimed to have heard the story from someone who was there at the time, one thing that has stood out to me is the pivotal moments along the way where our story could have turned out very differently. In his darkest moods, the savior of Rome must have wondered if there was anything he could have done differently to save his friends. Perhaps if he had struck down Vitellius Lurco on that stage, or if he had gone so far as to bring his legion across the Rubicon, none of his companions would have had to die. But for those of us left to live in a peaceful and strong republic, what transpired seems like the best possible outcome. Our republic was saved, and the villain, Vitellius Lurco, was brought to justice. One should always take care when second-guessing historical figures with the benefit of hindsight. Here in the present, there will never truly be a way for you to know how you might have acted if you had lived in the past. Nor can you ever be certain how history will remember you.